Beachgoers turned out in force at Sandy Neck Beach over the recent holiday weekend. 2 local stores are called before the Board of Health for selling tobacco products to underage customers, and a piece of land in West Barnstable could soon be conservation land. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. It was a very busy 4th of July weekend on Sandy Neck Beach. Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager Nina Coleman updated the Sandy Neck Board during its meeting this week.
We have survived another 4th of July. It was a doozy. Part of that was that all the other beaches were closed. Chapin closed up right before the 4th, like coming right into it. Nauset was closed, and I believe Race Point was closed, but quite frankly I haven't had time to confirm that.
Holy mackerel.
And then we had this long 4th of July. For those of us who live here, we all know it all sort of started ramping up Thursday, and then we had all the way through till Monday.
Tuesday.
Into Tuesday was the traffic. So Sandy Neck, as always, we started with the campers on Thursday and Friday. Saturday was a huge day, although the weather was a little questionable. Sunday was enormous day, and Monday was manageable. Sunday was the only time that we actually closed the off-road beach because we got to a point where we felt with the high tides. Don't forget, we also had really big tides, close to 12-footers, 11-somethings, at the wrong time of the day. So that was the only day where we felt like, for safety's sake, we had to cut it off, and we cut it off for only 2 hours. So I think overall, for all of the hours that the beach was open, I cannot say enough about my staff. They were out there. We all worked 12, 14, 18-hour days. We took a lot of abuse. I'm not going to lie to you.
Kick anybody off?
We certainly did. We certainly did address a number of issues. We had police around the clock for the most part there. We had parking lot closures through the whole weekend, which are really tough. People get very agitated when the parking lot gets closed, and you double that up with an off-road vehicle closure at the same time. Our police detail had to spend most of Sunday at the gatehouse just to keep things under control. We made a lot of money. And I haven't had a chance to put numbers together. Really, we've just been trying to dig ourselves out of all the accounting and enforcement that follows these big weekends. So I'm not going to have an opportunity to put together statistics, but I would say it was a huge, huge weekend.
And Coleman says in the 14 years serving as beach park manager, this was the busiest 4th of July weekend for the beach. 2 local stores are in hot water after both sold tobacco products to underage customers. A hearing for the Marston's Mills Food Market was held before the Board of Health this week. Bob Collette with the Tobacco Control Commission presented findings from a recent sting operation.
Just here to report to the board that on June 29th, 2016 at 7:12 p.m., a 16-year-old youth was able to purchase a Black and Mild cigarillo at the Marston's Mills Cash Market for the price of 84 cents, and the clerk's name on duty was Mohammed.
Okay, Tom.
Hi, good afternoon. My recommendation is more than just a warning on this. This is not just the first time this establishment has violated this regulation. This is the fourth time. December 21st, 2005, December 3rd, 2007, June 21st, 2013, and June 29th of this year, 2016. This is the fourth time. My recommendation is to issue a non-criminal ticket citation to the owner
And a fine of,
At least $100. I know that,
well, the last two have been, what are the dates of the last two? This one and the one before?
before June of this year was June of 2013. So
15?
13, so 3
13.
years ago
So 3 years ago. And the one before that?
was 2007, December of 2007.
Well, I think in lieu of the time between the two, the second and third, maybe we should have a fine of $100.
And the board voted unanimously to fine the Marston's Mills Food Market $100. A hearing was also held for Cumberland Farms on Route 132 in Hyannis. This is the convenience store's first time before the board for selling tobacco products to an underage customer. Again, Bob Collette from the Tobacco Control Commission addressed the Board of Health.
Okay, also on the same date, June 29th, 2016 at 8:08 p.m. Again, the same youth was able to purchase a Black and Mild cigarillo at the Cumberland Farms located at 1165 through 1171 Ino Road, Route 132. Clerk in question went by the name of Steve, and the cost of the product was $2.01.
According to our records, this is the first offense at this Cumberland Farms location on Route 132, so I would recommend a written warning be issued.
And the Board of Health voted unanimously to send an official warning to that Cumberland Farms location. The Barnstable Land Trust is working to purchase a 3-acre parcel of land in West Barnstable. Jackie Barton from the Barnstable Land Trust presented plans to the Conservation Commission this week.
The Barnstable Land Trust is applying for a state grant, state conservation partnership grant, which is only available to nonprofit organizations, and as a way to help fund this acquisition. And as part of that acquisition, there's a requirement that a conservation restriction be placed upon the land if we're successful in getting the grant. We also expect to go to the Community Preservation Committee and ask for funding there. And in either event, we would hope that the conservation restriction would be held by the Conservation Commission. So we're asking you for two things tonight. One is to hold the conservation restriction, and the other is to support the grant that's currently about to be sent off to the state. This land is particularly important because it's a critical linkage in the Cape Cod pathway system. In 2003, there was a plan done that identified about 20 parcels of land in the town of Barnstable that needed to be acquired in order to actually, it was more than that at the time, that needed to be acquired in order to complete the pathway from east to west across the town. And this is one of those parcels. About a year ago, the West Parish Foundation came to Barnstable Land Trust and asked if we were interested in pursuing it. We were at the time involved in the Lowell Park project. We now are actively involved in trying to work with the West Parish Memorial Foundation to protect this land, again, because it's a critical linkage in the Cape Cod Pathways Trail System. It takes you basically from the roadway up Shaw's Lane a little bit onto a piece of Barnstable Land Trust land, and then onto this piece of property, and on north of Church Street, then over into the Bridge Creek Wetlands Conservation Area. Beautiful piece of property, critical linkage within that western area of the Pathways Trail System.
And the Conservation Commission voted to support that project. The Barnstable Land Trust will now proceed with applying for the state grant to help pay for the land purchase. Tomorrow, the Committee to Assess Homelessness in Hyannis will meet at Town Hall. On the agenda, a discussion about the status of the outreach coordinator position and the next steps, and an update on the status of camps and camping in Barnstable. Signage has been placed in several areas notorious for illegal camping in an attempt to deter the activity. The committee meets at 5:30 Thursday evening in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will meet this year's Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year. We'll have our weekly sports segment, plus we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.